This
Welcome to your awakening. Please take off as your reality is adjusted.
Gold morning, global, digital, virtual, protect the children under 16, ID, gulag. I could maybe fit a few more in there. I'll have to think about it for next time. I'm sure there'll be more we can add in for next week. Yeah, welcome back again to the yet more confirmation of the digital gulag they want you all to be living in. So I hope you've got your biometric starfish print ready to show to get entry to the allowed to say anything club. Well, within limitations, of course. You're not allowed to say absolutely anything, but you know.
Well, you're not on X, are you? You're not on Instagram, Snapchat,
No.
TikTok. As long as YouTube is out of the loop. I'm not sure.
YouTube was on the list, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see how things develop in the coming days, because I think it's going to be quite a hectic week. But yeah, we'll sort of get into that. Welcome back, folks. Yep. Another edition of Solid Excalibre, counting the tick boxes. It's almost like doing an advent calendar, but in reverse. Because every time we open a new box and what used to be a conspiracy theory gets confirmed by the actions of the current sitting psychopaths, then it's like you have to put the chocolate back in, you know, because your world has just got shittier. So you got to give the chocolate back that you had out the original advent calendar. You know, you got to put it back in the little box and close the door on it. Yeah? Say goodbye to that bit of your chocolate ration, because your chocolate ration has been reduced again this week. But never mind, because we had a military success against the evil forces of Putin. Yeah, so I'm getting lost in the 1984 references now. How many people took part in the vote I had on my channel? It was just a stupid test to see how the polling function worked on YouTube. Will you comply? 3 votes, and they all said no. There you go. So I think we're doing well with the current audience. But, you know, some of this is speaking to the future. I know people will tune in after the fact, so they're sort of coming at it as if it's from the past, because they're time travelers in the future. Hello, time traveler. I'm speaking to you from the past. This is an amazing magic ability that we developed with our super fantastic technology. I can say things now and you'll hear them in the future. It's fucking amazing, isn't it? Yeah. But this is just the silliness of internet technology, recording technology, isn't it, really, at that basis? But in the way we use it these days, it's the internet, the intercoms, IT technology that we're utilising to do this silly stuff of speaking to the future and hopefully sharing information that will make people realise that if they don't do or say something now, you know, it doesn't always require action. Sometimes it just requires words, or vice versa. You know? Sometimes it needs both. But the point is, it's what we do now that's going to be affecting the coming future. The subtitle for this week, I was deliberately trying to get to it quickly this week, just for the fucking change. The subtitle this week is The Future by Ingsoc. I suppose I could have put brought to you by Ingsoc, but that would imply that they're serving you in some fashion, which is the wrong way round in that Orwellian 1984 future. Yeah? Ingsoc, if you didn't know, it's again another reference from the novel 1984, but it stands for English socialism, which was Orwell's pathetic analogy of the National Socialist Party as he knew it in his timeline from its incarnation in Germany. But he foresaw it coming back again because he knew as well, like we've often talked about, the real Nazis never lost the war. They just got somebody else to take the blame. So they've come back again there and they're rising back up to power. And he saw it in that sense of it would be another incarnation of corporatism, which is often confused with fascism. And communism is just as bad because it requires the use of force to control an entire population. So it's just the same fucking principles based on force. So it would come back again, and it would most likely come out of England again, or out of the UK, Great Britain, whichever name you want to choose. But I think he realised it would resurface again because we did definitely participate in the creation of that ideology from the turn of last century and before, with the rise of eugenics and stuff like that. That led to that extreme perception of the ideology of the ultimate power of the individual, but divided amongst the collective. It's a little bit of a paradox, but it works most effectively if you convince people that they are an individual and they have ultimate rights, just like every other individual, but then they work as part of a collective, they work together, then that is the many sticks tied together to strengthen the axe head in the center. That's the fascist. That's the principal ideology. But anyway, I've digressed already. Yeah, the subtitle for this week, The Future by Ingsoc. Because if you hadn't realised it, if you're living in the UK now at the moment, certainly in England, and I think it's pretty true of Wales, and to a degree Scotland as well, and Ireland is in tumult at the moment, isn't it still? So we're yet to see how that's going to develop. But if you hadn't realised it, you are now living in a corporatist system. It's pretty blatant. They've taken the masks off. They're standing on the front of stage saying service equals citizenship. Might is right. If we need it, we will take it. That is our moral imperative. Yeah, that's the ideology they're working from at the moment. That's why they're trying to convince everyone that we need to be moving into a wartime economy, because you are already at war, if you didn't realise it. There's going to be a lot of that at the moment. If you didn't realise it, I know it's not an all-encompassing how can I describe it? An all-encompassing sort of unassailable inevitability. It's not inevitable, it's not unassailable, and it's certainly not all-encompassing. But it's certainly got the grip of a large portion of the population. Yes, insidious nature of pro sport and the discernible difference between patriotism and nationalism. Yeah, both of these essays are very relevant. Yes, mate. And he's one, is it something Wigan Pier? I can't remember the full title. Return to Wigan Pier or something like that. Journey to Wigan Pier. That's another good one as well. So yeah, it's not just his main work that most people know him for. There's a lot of his other writing, and Animal Farm, of course, as well, which is a really good way to introduce children to the dangers of these, for the greater good kind of corporate manipulations, or maybe I should say Machiavellian manipulations, because it can emanate as corporatism or something else, oligarchy, but the point is these are methods used by the psychopaths to manipulate masses of people to do what they want. And we're in that kind of situation definitely again at the moment. When have we never been in it is another question, I suppose. But I think it's a game of tug of war. I've tried to use that metaphor before to describe the way the mass of the population pull power back away from these psychopaths and then the psychopaths come up with ways of gaining it back again and trying to secure it, which is where we are now. If they introduce this social media ban, the road to Wigan Pier, that's it, thank you, right? Yeah. If they introduce this social media ban for children, that is just a Trojan horse for a digital ID system, because it will require everyone using the internet to have some kind of verification process to at least discern your age, which means within the internet technology, you have just put a piece of data that's confirmed to be connected to you individually, the you that the system itself recognizes in the old paper and pencil system. So what used to be often referred to as your straw man, your legal or your bureaucratic identity that exists within the paper world of governance, because governance only works because of record keeping. So they have a record of your existence that lists your name and your age and your birth date and blah, blah, blah. Bits of details about you that are on your passport and on your birth certificate, even though the birth certificate is not supposed to be used as a legal form of ID. It pretty much has been for decades anyway. It still is by some businesses and people, but legally you're not supposed to use it as a form of ID. But anyway, the point being is, if they introduce it, that is a Trojan horse to bring in digital ID. And digital ID is a major stepping stone for the technocratic control system, which is how the technocrats, the psychopaths that are using technology against us, are attempting to put in a permanent foundation of control. Well, certainly permanent until there's a major solar flare or something to destroy all the electronics on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
They'll find it a bit difficult to get away with their technocracy, but that's a possibility. That's in the same way as aliens
would be a blessing, actually, right?
Potentially it could be, yes. In the same way as if they just turn the internet off for a bit, other than essential services, just literally turned off people's everyday access and use of the internet, and do that for like 3 weeks. People would have a cold turkey experience.
Oh yeah, bad first week, and then it'll calm down, and
and then they'll find other things to do, and they'll realize that life is not just about using this internet technology in whatever way you do.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot more that goes on.
Oh, you can talk to people. Actually, talk to. Oh.
No, they prefer text, and robot voices.
Yeah.
And AI interaction. Don't you want an AI to do that for you? It's going to become a cursed fucking meme.
Yeah. My agents will do that for me.
I remember, like back in the 80s, when it's like, "Do you want fries with that?" And that became a bit of a kind of pejorative slur to say to somebody, because it's like saying that the only job you're good enough to do is serving fries in a fast food restaurant. Yeah. So like, "Do you want fries with that?" It's going to be the same with the fucking AI. Do you want AI to do that for you?
I'm going to call my agent Mr. Smith. Because Agent Smith and then Mr. Smith.
Yeah. In honor of Mr. Smith, and big shout out to everyone that did some kind of message or some of the content creators
homage.
that put videos out. Yeah.
Seen some lovely stuff out there.
Messages and everything. Yeah, it was great. It's been a bit of a heavy week in that respect, but we're rapidly approaching the solstice, so I think it's time for that kind of renewal of the year. We're hitting the midpoint of the year.
It's looking to be a very lovely solstice this year.
I think so. I've ordered some sunshine.
Clear skies.
Yeah.
Well,
I can only put in a request. I can't make any demands, so...
Yeah, be careful what you wish for. It might be...
Yeah. So, my intention comes with the self-realization that can only cope with a certain amount of heat. So when I'm asking for it to be sunny, my intention includes not too hot, please. Yeah, I don't want to look like a fucking
little
lobster and be dying
breeze.
of sunstroke. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes
No.
a little breeze can be worse because it can lull you into a false sense of security. You don't
Ah,
realise how much your skin
Yeah,
is
but
burning.
don't stay in the sun too long, right?
That's the
Yeah,
point. When you
that's
feel the
it.
tingle, get in the shade.
Yep.
That skin was meant to be able to deal with the output of our star. So all
Yeah,
this
it's called
idea
a
of you
sunburn. So that obviously means you've been in there too long.
too long, yeah. And
Uh,
how did we cope for tens of thousands of years before some cunt decided to turn some oil and petroleum into shit that you rub on your skin?
well, you can move to Scotland and you never have that problem.
Unless you're an albino, yeah. Don't move to Scotland.
But
Yeah,
you
you'll
are
find it just as bad.
definitely vitamin D deficient then. But so.
So this week, all right, let's quick hello through the chat room first.
Hello.
Now that I've sort of I rushed to get through to the subtitle for this week just to make the point. And we'll come back and talk about some of the shit to do with the ID. It's not exactly going to be anything new that people haven't heard me say before, but we are at that point now where it's no longer a possibility on the horizon. It's now, being shoved through your fucking letterbox, whether you wanted it or not. Rebecca, good evening, Rebecca. Hope you're having a good day at work. Say hello to the crow if he comes back again. And Roscoe, good evening, mate. We are fucking going. We're going somewhere. We're on a ride on this planet and nobody's fucking steering the bus. So, Rick, good evening, Rick. Thanks for joining us. And Rob, he's sat there polishing his fucking head again. Yeah. But tune in tomorrow, give you a request on Rob's post or under the video for tomorrow. And he's doing a music show, so it'll only be on Rumble. I think I mentioned that earlier, didn't I? YouTube is on the ban list, but so far Rumble is not. So if my channel or these broadcasts stop all of a sudden because maybe they ask for some kind of verification, then I'll be setting up on Rumble to do stuff there.
Well, I'm in Holland, so we don't have any of that yet still. So
yeah,
I can still run everything from here and
we
invite you in.
Yeah, we don't yet. It's just that the way he's announced it today.
Yeah, sure. You're going to be an example for everybody. So yeah.
He wants it done now, obviously, because of all the other shit going. But anyway,
legacy.
Yeah, Nitsa, Dustin, good evening, mate. Thanks for joining us. And Jen, good evening. You made it. Scrolling. Ridiculous the days, good mate. Hope you've got decent weather over there. Mascara Snake,
Always.
good evening, Martin. Good to see you. I'm scrolling. Hello to all the time travelers. Roberto. Roberto.
Word. Oh, yeah, there.
And Brandon. Good evening, Brandon.
Oh, yeah.
And Steve. Yeah. Good evening, Steve. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for the show on Thursday. And good evening, all the time travelers, the lurkers, the interdimensional disclosure beings that are wetting themselves laughing at Spielberg's crappy movie.
Rob has been. He can give you a review.
Never mind, Rob. Yeah. You won't get those 3 hours of your life back now.
That's exactly his review. That's exactly what he said.
Genuinely concerned. Good evening.
Seriously. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like the worst case of the dominatrix edging you that you've ever experienced.
Just back from watching Disclosure Day, 3 hours of my life I will never get back. Terrible.
Cool. Michael Magcock, good evening, mate. Oh, cool, he will not comply. Cool, there you go.
No. Yeah, the poll up.
The poll. Yeah. Kitty, meow. Meow, Kitty, thanks for the show last week.
Yep.
Paula, she's listening. Thanks to Paula as well. And Lynn. Blessed Exile, good evening.
Oi. Lurker.
And David, good evening. I'm still scrolling. If I missed you out, apologies. Do my
There you go.
usual, trying to catch it. Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, scroll to the end of the chat. Yeah, welcome. And welcome to the future.
Welcome.
Yeah. Did you pick up your comfy cushion as you were entering the lobby?
Do you have enough social points to enjoy the show?
Maybe not.
You might lose a few.
Yeah. You might not have been able to afford the comfy chair. You got the wooden stool instead, you know.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
But just to sort of try and, I'm going to roll through a few things to try and link them together to give an impression of what I feel I've seen over the last week building up. This Thursday, we're going to have that election in Makerfield. Is it Makerfield or Macclesfield? I always thought it was Macclesfield because of the pronunciation, but whatever. Yeah, they're having that election with Andy Burnham in. There's quite a few other people. Like, I don't know how many, I lost count. There's like 14 people in the vote or something. A couple of silly ones like the Munster Raving Loony people and whatever, but there's quite a few people in the lineup in total. But obviously it's going to be a bit of probably a 3-horse race with Burnham probably leading. But anyway, the point being, that's coming up on Thursday. Andy Burnham has made it plain in a few of his statements that he's looking at not just getting back into Parliament, he's looking at taking Starmer's job. So we're still getting that narrative of Starmer's going to be leaving soon. He's going to get pushed out or voted out one way or another, and they're going to bring in this other guy instead. Right? Now, just that alone is dubious as fuck, because that supposedly is not how our electoral system works.
Oh.
Yeah, it's sort of making a mockery of the whole general election system, because if they can do this to bring in somebody to replace a sitting prime minister, then the prime minister's position basically becomes meaningless, because they can just keep swapping them whenever they want, yeah, because it's not part of a general election. It's not up to you, the voter, to decide. They can just do this kind of shenanigans to enable somebody to be brought in.
As I recall, Starmer didn't even want the job. He wanted to go to Davos. They asked, do you want to be prime minister? No, I'd rather go to Davos. I can do more there.
I think he meant, that's what I think he meant it in the sense of he would rather be operated like Davos. As in, he wished Parliament
No. He was asked, would you, do you want, it was earlier, right, in his career where he had the opportunity to become prime or whatever, but he wouldn't run. He didn't feel like it. He says, no, I would rather go to Davos. You can accomplish more there on the world stage and blah, blah, and talk with people, and you're more free, and right. So he was really upping the Davos crowd. Mm-hmm. But I think the people in Davos then called and said, yeah, you can do that, but you first have to do this.
First you have to lie in a coffin and masturbate while everyone watches.
Yeah, and slip digital ID in.
Yeah.
Because that seems to be the prime fucking thing that he's doing, right? And
there's a few other things.
The rest is distraction.
And it is a carry-on from Tony Blair's campaign to push it on us.
Yeah,
right from the late 90s. Yeah. So it's not a new thing that the Labour Party have tried to get this in. It's just now it's been such a hard push combined with other things as well. So, and I'll go through them. Like, you got this election coming up on Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really beneficial from Starmer's point of view to have not only a load of other stuff acting as distraction, but also things that potentially, you mentioned it earlier, that potentially boosts his legacy or his potential legacy as a competent prime minister. So in other words, he's brought in this social media ban because hopefully he's hoping it will make him look good, like he's doing something, yeah? But at the same time, it's just acting as a vehicle, a Trojan horse, to bring in the digital ID. But the very fact that loads of parents, primarily parents, have campaigned to get this introduced Yeah, like I said, he's trying to gain kudos, to make it look like he's doing something to save the children. On the back of that,
a lot of parents are saying, "No, how am I gonna control my child without the smartphone?
Yeah,
They're gonna destroy my house."
yeah, possibly,
So
because a lot of them are junkies. Yeah,
good luck with that.
yeah. So,
I know. We talked a little bit about it before the show, right? It is a problem. We know it's a problem.
Yeah,
Social
there's definitely
media,
a help,
kids,
yes.
and all that. But that's a problem that was created. We know why and how and all that, right?
Yep.
So
Laughingly,
I would
as
go at the
well,
source. Go at the marketeers and the marketing guys and the pushers and
there was,
the dealers.
to combine into this or to weave into this from the point of view of the eugenics psyops, the grand psyops that have been going on. Not too long ago, there was, I can't remember if it was The Guardian or The Telegraph, they published this report, this investigation into how, with the advent of the iPhone, that was the beginning of the massive fertility drop in the developed nations. So the implication was, by the very use of the iPhone, in other words, scrolling social media and being distracted by the phone and whatever, has put people off procreating, such that it's created a fertility drop. No question of the actual technology itself causing infertility or fertility problems. No, instead it's you were psychologically distracted from having a blowjob because you were looking at a video of kittens.
Hello?
You really fucking believe that? You really believe that people out
No,
there
I'll have
who
both.
could be having sex were instead too preoccupied with looking at what their mate had said about their dinner they had last night on fucking Facebook? Fuck off, you cunt.
Oh, no.
But they've been pushing this report as if it explains the drop in fertility based on social media use.
No, that's the porn industry. That's pretty obvious.
Yeah. As well as, yes, yeah. But that compounds with this push of children who are encountering stuff online that's not safe or good for them, which there is a truth to. But as you were just explaining, as we've talked about before, this has been enabled deliberately.
Yeah.
They've had the possibility to change what is being presented to the user based on the user's information for a long, long time.
They can make it more palatable, more child-friendly, just by changing the algorithms and doing that.
Yes.
That's it. But they won't, because they want the Pavlovian fucking click, 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 go, go, go.
And they want the invasion into the children's minds. This is part of that eugenics program as well, to begin sexualizing people at a younger and younger age. Then you
part of that club?
Exactly. Yeah. Then you introduce the ambiguity stuff of the trans agenda. Yeah. Again, the whole idea of this, really, the real base principle of this is population control, but also creating a psychologically accepting personality to moral relativism and objective relativism, which is a bit of a oxymoron. Yeah, but the point being that children grow up now believing that their body is interchangeable. Yeah. It's not their physical self anymore. It's an avatar that they just steer like a vehicle that they occupy by using apps.
Yes, do as thou wilt.
It's an immensely fucking dangerous psychology to be embedding into young children's minds, because it affects their perception of the reality they're inhabiting. But at a base level. Yeah, go on.
You can go on Blue Sky. Right, so that kind of shows how political it also is, right? Yeah. Like, okay, you can be in a left-leaning echo chamber, but you cannot be in a right-leaning echo chamber.
No,
right?
That serves their current narrative of the far right being a problem in the UK.
Yeah, because Blue Sky is just the old Twitter, and we know why old Twitter failed and it got sold, right?
Yeah. And so, that is one of the
and now it's back to the old Twitter, or X is now the old Twitter, and now Blue Sky is Twitter.
Because they operate what they call a safe space environment on that platform. That is
one
of the
which is not
places where young people could encounter grooming
Yep.
personalities that are trying to encourage them into this ideology.
Well, not
Yeah,
just
so
that, and way more, right? Because
yeah,
there's
worse.
less
But
moderation on Blue Sky than there is on other platforms.
just for this
So.
point from eugenics and that, introducing young children to a relativism in a way that will fuck up the rest of their life because it becomes foundational as part of their personality if they're encountering it at a younger age. Yeah. Normally, this kind of subject matter would only be introduced to post-pubescent children. They're children that have got a bit more connection to their real physical selves because they've gone through puberty, so their body has gone through that change into maturity. So they've got a better comprehension of their physical self, and its interaction, how it works in this reality. But if you introduce ideas like relativism to younger children, they will severely struggle to cope with comprehending what reality is, because you've given them a foundational principle that says reality can be anything at any moment. Yeah. So in other words, I don't know what the fuck is going on anymore. I don't know up from down, etc. Yeah.
I think up to 12, right? You have that innocence kind of a thing going on that you should protect. Like you
That's
should
what I'm saying.
protect children from. Yeah.
Puberty usually acts as a very good demarcation line in that respect.
Yeah.
Pre-pubescent children tend to have a much more innocent perception of how reality works. They struggle with certain concepts, not that they can't get them, but they're not comfortable. They don't resolve them readily. Yeah? So they could become obsessive ideation and stuff like, which they could become a later problem in their personality. So you deliberately don't introduce children to some ideas, not until they're old enough to be able to deal with the consequences of that, the thoughts that idea would give them. Yeah.
But the reason alone that we as boomers, almost boomers, right, are talking about social platforms and Snapchat and all that, already makes it less attractive to a whole demographic, right? Oh, grandpa's on it. Uh-oh. Right? Oh, Starmer is interested in fucking Snapchat. Well, so they already moved to different platforms that we haven't even heard of, right? You can write an app and pop it on the internet, and it spreads like virus, and it's unstoppable. This is such a fucking bullshit. And we have the example in Australia, right, where they tried it and it failed.
Yeah, more than 60% of the children who were knocked off when they introduced it are now back on. Yeah, so in
either to backdoors or they move to different things,
or they get their parent to open an account for them. Yeah, because
parents do it because they don't agree and they don't want a fucking upset kid in the house. That they
don't want somebody whose brain has been molded into a dopamine junkie having a tantrum and smashing up the fucking house because you've taken their internet away.
How long have we been talking about it? How bad social media is for kids,
and how much it affects their
and now this is the solution, really?
Yeah. Well, that was the purpose of it, wasn't it? That was why they made it so bad. So that now there's literally pressure groups of parents whose children have legitimately suffered through this kind of problem. But those parents are now demanding a solution from the government, so the government can now go, hey, look, we're doing what you're asking us to. Aren't we great people? Yeah. There it goes. That's the Trojan horse working perfectly.
Yeah.
I'm sure I saw High Plains Drifter in the chat, did I? Yes, hello, mate. Good evening, mate.
Well, giving your child access to social media might be a grounds for the government to take your children in the future, right? Shit like that. So it has to be
I would
mindful of that.
argue that if they're blocking the child from seeing some sites, but they are basically encouraging them to go to sites where I know for a fact there's people that will try and groom them into the transgender ideology, that to me is child abuse. So the government is creating a situation where they're doing completely the opposite of what they claim. They're not.
Yeah, I would never allow my fucking child on Blue Sky. No,
they're making it more dangerous.
Yeah.
Then there's the fact that once they introduce this, and this has been shown in the stats from Australia as well, once they introduce this kind of restriction, you drive the communications underground. So the children figure out ways to bypass the lockouts, but then that means they're in an environment where it's meant to be adults only. So they're getting treated like an adult. They're being presented with information as if they're an adult. And at
Yeah.
the same time, if something does happen to them, they're going to think, well, I can't say anything to anyone because I'm breaking the law by sneaking in with my secret account.
Mhm.
So they've made the situation fucking worse. This kind of
Yeah, I think
censorship
Starmer
never
should
worked.
Starmer should be more honest and tell the kids like us, "Hey kids, Uncle G has made a little app for you. It's called WeChat. It is very safe." And all that, right? So I think that's where we're at. The government want their own little X,
Mhm.
right? The
Yeah.
WeChat kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So, and I think they think that Blue
Isn't it
Sky is it.
Weibo, isn't it called Weibo, the Chinese
Weibo
one for
or
kids?
WeChat,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
something
think
like
it's
that.
Weibo for the kids.
It's not TikTok, but different. And it has everything inside. It
Yeah.
has your financials and chat and photos and
Yeah.
all that. It's the ultimate social app.
And the various
And your
ID you need
credits.
to go through governmental systems. So like
Yeah.
the facial recognition gates.
All your credits and everything
Yeah.
is linked in there. Yep.
Because the deflection that they often say back that it's only this far, we're not going to do anything else, this is just to protect the kid, is just such bullshit. And I hope now that after so many fucking incidents over the last several years, that most of the public can see that, they can see through that gaslighting now. I hope. It should be blatantly obvious that this is going to require some form of digital verification whenever anyone logs on, so that it can check whether you are a child or not. That means we are all being monitored whenever we log on the fucking internet, or when we go to those platforms that we're not supposed to use. Yeah?
They have to offer these junkies a supplement, right? Just like they did with the heroin addicts. They did the what is it? The fake heroin,
Frank, methadone.
right? Methadone treatment. So you'll get a methadone version of the social media for the kids, right? A neutered, a neutered kind of a version of it. You're allowed to do that.
That is something that they have already worked on, and part of interestingly, this is going back a few years now. We showed clips from a study that was in China where the children were wearing these headsets, like a circlet that monitored where they were looking, so you could see how much time they spent looking at the work page and looking at the blackboard. And then it was correlating that with other biometric data interpretation. So that kind of stuff is already happening.
Well, you're dealing with junkies, right? So you can take advantage of a junkie in the same way, right? So sorry, we have to take it away, but you can have this.
Yeah, but they're looking at ways to give them that feedback, but in a controlled manner that suits their propaganda or political purpose. So in other words, when they show you a clip of the political leader that you're meant to be in favor of, and he's standing up and shaking his fist at the man, and everybody thinks he's going to be the new messiah, that's supposed to give you the dopamine rush. Yeah, so it's a controlled political. You are trapped within the game. You cannot enjoy anything outside of it.
It's like with the methadone, right? Methadone is still heroin, but just with one molecule knocked off.
Yeah.
For less side effect when you
less
get off it.
I think
slightly.
I remember what people
slightly less sweaty. I think the down is a little bit less, but it's still heroin. So it's like with Blue Sky, it's still fucking social media.
It's still the same methodology of capturing people's attention.
Yeah. So it's not about the kids. It never was. It never will be. It doesn't make any sense. So
and this has been admitted.
Do everything you can to
years,
fucking jinx it.
One of the first whistleblowers that came out like 2012, 2013 from Facebook. The one guy talking about how they'd been monitoring certain people, like they got an experiment running where they got a bunch of people that they were showing really nasty stuff to. And then a bunch of people they were showing really calm stuff to, and they were monitoring their reactions and whatever.
It's neuro-linguistic programming. That's the the new marketing.
it's been admitted for a long time now that these systems have been, these software platforms have been designed to try and capture your attention and keep you hooked in for as long as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's that
to make you
Kubrick
feel like,
scene, right? With the ice spread from the orange thingy. What was it? Kubrick. Fuck.
Clockwork Orange.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
It's where they inject all the imagery in the guys, right? Where they pull his eyes
Oh,
open,
yes.
so he cannot
Yeah.
close his eyes, and then they it's
Yeah.
that. But you do it voluntary to yourself.
Yes.
That's the catch that they have, right? That's the
Even to the point of people
the
will
honey.
lie in
This
bed
one, yeah.
with the phone next to them, still trying to do stuff on it while they fall asleep.
Yeah, or listen to it. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they
Yeah.
wake up in the morning complaining about how they don't feel like they got a good night's sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's, what the fuck do you expect?
Yeah. But
Talk
yeah,
about
here they do
mazing
it forced, but we are doing
in a
it
maze.
yeah, voluntary. So yeah. So yeah, there is a catch-22 with the social media and kids, but I think we should educate parents
there are
and
many better
kids
ways
and
for
kids
us to
way
approach
earlier
it.
on school on the dangers of
And the
fucking
use
social
of the
media.
technology itself needs to be readdressed because,
You know,
even though I know this is like this has become a subject.
That's
like
the easiest fix, I think.
Chemtrailing used to be 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
If you bring up the subject of Wi-Fi and the EMF smog and the irradiation of people get very uptight, and it's very similar to what the geoengineering subject was like 20 years ago, because people don't want to admit it. But there is a wealth of scientific proof that these devices, these frequencies, cause fertility problems in most people. They can cause the death of eggs in young girls, depending on the proximity of the device, like the router or the Wi-Fi transmitter, whatever it is. Yeah? So this kind of technology has now been introduced to schools in a way where they are steadily attempting to push AI to take over the job completely from teachers, which means you'll have young children, the children that are most affected by these frequency devices, sat in a room with multiple frequency devices emitting all around them while they're being taught by an AI, and the AI is engineering their dopamine response.
Again, it's another
Talk
point.
about Pavlov training en masse. Yeah.
Yeah, but it also shows how far behind the government fucking works, right? Because they're now worried about the 10-year-old social media platforms that have been running since ages. Meanwhile, we're gonna getting flooded with an AI agent tsunami.
Yep.
You know, what the fuck is that gonna mean? We don't even know, right?
And the potential for AI to fairly readily be adapted by people to
we had
create
suicides with AI already, like
to create on-the-fly chat environments.
Yeah.
So in other words, nothing that exists on a particular platform anywhere. They just utilize cloud space with the AI to create a kind of sub-program for them to have chat access with each other. That bubble, that pocket dimension in the cloud can exist for only as long as the conversation.
That video game Subnautica 2, you know the drama around that? What happened there?
No.
So they made a deal with the employees that they would get a payout if Subnautica 2 would be successful, right? They would get a big payout, like 10% or whatever. So that would mean they would have to pay out like 250 million if they sell 1 million copies or whatever. So the CEO or CSO, whatever, he asked AI to plot on how to set up a plan to not have to pay out the guys if it was a fucking success.
The success just enough that it does.
Yeah, and the whole thing got exposed, and right. Yeah. So already have shit like that, and that's $100 million kind of a thing, right? They already had gold with Subnautica 1, right?
Yeah.
So and people are so fucking stupid. And that's just one example of AI and how it influences people and how people are thinking that AI is gonna fucking help them commit a crime, basically. And he's going to jail. So But there are many examples of that, right? Where AI is being used and asked to fucking scam this or fake that or create fake imagery, like
There was
food
one,
delivery.
there's one come out, I don't know if it came out yesterday or today, some copper in, I think it's Derbyshire. It's just been done for using AI to create fake evidence to set people up. So that's already started. That's in, it's already within the judiciary that they're using it to create fake evidence.
Yeah. So,
you
don't think that the perverts are not going to use any of this?
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So they're yeah.
But
Oppose digital ID, guys. This whole fucking it's about the children. We know it's bullshit. So yeah.
To add in a couple of bits that I feel they may seem like a little bit of a tangent, but in the overarching effect of what's going on here, I think they're an important extra stepping stone to point out. The recent Palestine Action Group that got prescribed as a terrorist group, the people that did that break-in where they were breaking into that weapons manufacturer, the Israeli weapons manufacturer, I can't remember the name of it now. And they ended up having a scrap with the coppers that turned up to grab them and whatever. They've been prosecuted. But the original charges they were prosecuted and found guilty of, after they were found guilty, now that they've been sentenced, the judge turned around and said, that's your guilty verdict, but I'm going to apply terrorist rules to your sentencing. Hang on a minute. They were tried for the charge that was given at the beginning of the trial. You're now changing the charge. Yeah. You're now saying that the charge is terrorist related. That's a different accusation, right? But anyway, the point being, they've now been sentenced. I can't remember how many fucking years it is, but they've got quite a few years. And this is not about the argument that you agree with what they did. It was not a good thing that they did. No. Exactly. I'm not suggesting that it is, but the point is, it's not so much about what they did. It's about that principle where a judge contravening what the jury agreed on, because the jury found them guilty for what they were originally charged for, If the jury was told, we're going to have another trial with these other charges, the verdict might have been different, right? So that's the point. The judge here is showing that the government now is so desperate to put a connection between protesting and terrorism such that they can shut down anyone that is saying or doing anything that is pointing out the worst shit that they're doing, Yeah. Because as part of the wartime economy that they're pushing us into, companies like that Israeli company, they're operating on British soil. So from a Russian point of view, or from a Palestinian point of view, or from an Iranian point of view, that makes us a legitimate target, because we're on our soil allowing and enabling the production of munitions, explosive drones and shit like that the Israelis are using in Lebanon and the other countries that they have illegally invaded. Right, so in that respect, that is the corporatist government or cabal that's governing the UK anyway, making a push to define this new ability, this new legislative ability, where it's not a change in legislation or law. They've just given these judges the power to say, political influence is telling me that I've got to charge you as terrorists because you've been prescribed as terrorists. So now protest itself can be labelled as terrorism, which is, when they also are planning to try and remove jury trials, is such an immense fucking risk to your rights as a free human being within this society. Forget the fucking judicial system, forget Magna Carta and all that shit. You are now in a full-blown tyranny where they're just deciding that you're going to be tried as a terrorist, even if you're an 80-year-old granny waving a sign saying genocide is wrong. That's the level of switch they're trying to push through with this. Old age pensioners holding signs saying genocide is wrong on the square outside Parliament got arrested and prosecuted as terrorists.
Yeah,
Combine that with digital ID.
that's where we the right and left can unite, right, on the Palestine issue, right? Because it's not fair on their end because they are very active on that. Like it's the left mostly that are protesting with the Palestine stuff, right?
Yeah, it's been a
But they're getting
traditional leftist
fucking
sort of
hammered. Same in the US, right? And so
well, they've been the
and everybody's
convenient-
you're
been the
pro
convenient-
Hamas.
But do
You're
you
a
condemn
terrorist.
Hamas? Do you condemn the IDF?
Yeah. So yeah,
I
yeah.
condemn
It's the
any
same as
kind-
you're a Nazi. What they're doing with us there, it's like, oh, you're pro Hamas, you're pro terrorist.
I condemn any cunt that shoots children for carrying water. Sorry, no. Even if those
And they're not
children
even
taking
Israelis,
water
Cookie. That's the worst
Yeah,
thing. They're
even
probably
if those children were taking water to enemy combatants, you still don't fucking shoot a child carrying water.
no, never.
Yeah.
There
The
are
very
rules.
fact that they can do that kind of shit and claim they're the most fucking moral army in the world, fuck you,
No,
cunts.
it's prison rules in Israel.
Yes. But that's why I wanted to link those things together, because I think even though it may seem like to a degree, because it's been running on the back of the online safety bill, we've been talking about the fact that they were going to potentially bring in this ban anyway, but the fact that it's sort of been pushed quite rapidly to the being introduced this week, with Starmer making his little salivating pronouncement like he does when he looks like a psychotic hamster. But that to me was no coincidence of timing. And on the back, as I mentioned, we had that interdiction to a Russian ship. Now that seems conveniently to roll off the back of the resignation of those war ministers. What's his name? Healy, the bald guy who looks a bit like Nosferatu, and Forces Minister Khan. Their two resignations in fairly rapid succession again shows that Starmer's in a position where things that he put in his original manifesto and things even that they promised after they got into power, he's either done a complete 180 on or he's completely flopped on, as in he just can't bring it home, he can't achieve it. So all the promises they made about spending money on the defence has now just been dropped, even though at the same time they're telling us we've got to prepare to be at war with Russia. And then this week, just conveniently, they're doing this, I call it an interdiction, because, it's just the fact that they're going into an enemy territory zone kind of thing. But I find it immensely amusing how there was a cameraman already on the gantry of the ship filming the helicopters as the Marines are rappelling down onto the deck of the ship. And then the cameraman is down in the bowels of the ship filming them as they're running down the stairs and down the corridors and shit. And it's like, fucking hell, I didn't know cameramen were the like biggest fucking commando ninjas ever. They get in there first, so they can set up to get the shot of the Marines coming into land. It's such fucking photo op shit.
Lovely.
But we get that at the same time as this push for digital ID. I don't know, I've ranted about this now for, I don't know, the last 2 years or more. The digital ID is something that will be immensely beneficial, if not essential, if we are in a war situation. So the very fact that they keep telling us we're going to be at war with Russia in a minute, which could be just a deliberate threat, to put people into anxiety so they go along with what's suggested possibly. But the way we keep goading Russia, and the fact that it wouldn't exactly take much from Russia's point of view to just swat us, they wouldn't have to hit us that hard. It certainly wouldn't take a lot of their manpower to have to deal with us as a side project kind of thing. But Starmer keeps pushing this idea that we're going to be in a wartime environment, wartime economy as well. But That means things like the papers, please environment is going to be somewhat essential, especially when a lot of our major cities have got a very diverse ethnic mix now. So our diversity might not necessarily be our strength if they start pulling triggers. But that again is something like a lot of this stuff we've got to wait and see.
They'll, I don't know. The migrants will get a digital ID when they land, right? They already get one, I think.
Yes, yeah, they will be issued with an
and
ID. Yeah.
Yeah, and it'll come with a universal income and all your benefits and all that stuff, right? So
I
if you don't
think
get
they have
one,
to,
no money.
yeah. I think they have to go through a very basic asylum request first, but that's pretty much like a rubber stamp process now. But yeah, then they get access to benefits via their ID.
Yeah, and I think they have a digital version of that. I'm sure.
Yeah, and there's already digital. Well, as far as I know, they haven't carried it out completely. They've still only done pilot run of it. Digital IDs being issued to newborns.
Mm-hmm.
So not only do you get your NHS medical record of birth, which includes a blood sample. So in that respect, them collecting DNA is something they've been doing for many decades. But this is more about them being connected then to a digital ID within
And they
the
still
bureaucratic
cannot
system.
catch a criminal.
No, so they
Funny,
try.
huh?
Yeah, but it's also true in a lot of schools already as well. I watched.
Yeah, same with the cameras. Right.
I watched an interview with on the Together channel with a woman who's one of the people from Defend Digital Me, which is a campaign group trying to work against the digification of ID, especially with children. And she was talking about how in a lot of the schools now, children are being issued with digital ID, the excuse being it's for registration purposes or it's for when they get their food in the canteen. You've got to give a thumbprint or something to get the food, or going in the library, same. So they're steadily getting the children acquiesced to, and this again is something why I've been ranting about this point. They're getting the children to acquiesce to a society where, one, you have to have some form of digital ID to operate within the society itself. And two, you've got to be prepared to present that whenever requested by the system or somebody supposedly in authority. How else do you say open air prison? I don't know how else to say to people to try and get this point across. This is the kind of security controls that you have in a fucking prison. But they want the children to be used to living in that environment 24/7. That is their future. That is the future brought to you by Ingsoc. There's such a shitty government, or it is such a shitty current system of governance, that the only way they can keep control of power is by resorting to tyrannical methods. That's the way every society dies. Every society descends into gradual chaos and tyranny, and then it's usually has the shit kicked out of it by some of the bigger civilization as its neighbour or whatever. That's when basically the wolves come in to finish off the half-dead carcass.
Because it's bigger than the UK, right? This is global.
Yeah,
this is Palantir. This is Oracle and those fucking guns. Is that you're gonna be reduced to a dot on a screen, right? A moving dot on the screen, because every fucking step is right. And then when they tap on that fucking dot and it's you, they can listen in and read all your mails and check all your socials, and right. That's what they want. They just want a total map of humans. It's like they have a map of the roads. They want everybody that's on the road also mapped and monitored and
their movements analyzed, their behavior patterns databased and researched until
your car can register genetic material. Huh?
Yeah. Remember Khalil was talking about them like 2 or 3 years ago?
I know.
Biological sensors.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're like little chemical sniffers, basically.
Oh yeah,
They're
and
just
if you're shagging your
big-
fucking mistress in the back of the fucking car, the car will tell tell
yeah.
Psst, hey,
It picks up ambient,
he's
like in
doing
the
it.
air, bits of
Mm-hmm.
fragments of DNA and whatever, or chemicals, and it can analyze.
Yeah, I can even
what they are.
sniff pheromones. I think shit like that.
Each sensor is limited on what it's designed to sense for, but that's, with the increase in nanotech and whatever, that's becoming more comprehensive, as in a single sensor can detect multiple things now rather
It's
than
like
just
your
one.
tracker, right? Your watch, your tracker watch. It can detect if you're walking, bicycling, running, having a shit,
Monitor your heart
sleeping,
rate, your breathing
having a
rate, your
shag,
pulse,
wanking off. It'll know.
yeah,
Right,
your
and,
sweat
and that's a
level.
tiny little sensor. And what's to say that not every car has one tiny little sensor in there already, like for fucking decades?
Like these little things that you can get. This senses my
Mhm.
blood pressure and my oxygen level.
Yeah.
And it's non-invasive. I just have to put my finger between the sensors and
Yeah,
it
yeah.
detects it from
Infrared. Yeah.
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 So they've used
So
similar systems to that, obviously a bit more sophisticated than that, but it's the same kind of principle.
Mhm.
And they're analyzing so much data about you now, especially the more technologically advanced areas you go into, especially in modern cars and stuff like that. Yeah, there's an immense amount of data that's being gathered up about you.
well, that's also a thing,
why-
right? The biometrics, the health data that the health chips that they want to implant in all of us as well, so they can
Yeah.
collect even more data.
That's why they want the data centers.
Hey,
That's why net
surveillance
zero.
centers.
Net zero is not for the corporate machine, the operation
No,
of
it's
the
for data
machine. It's
centers.
for us. Yeah, it's so they can take the power off us and feed it into the data centers.
Yeah,
Yeah, so net
and
zero will
charge
be
us
for
extra.
us,
Mhm.
but it won't count for industry and government operations. No, they'll get as much power as they need, whatever they need. That again
Yep.
is standard practice in a tyrannical regime. The population become the fuel to power the systems of control. Yeah, I mean that could be said to be true for most systems of governance, but it's especially true when you descend into tyranny. Yeah, the
It's so
tyrannical
crazy, right?
regime
Yeah.
will just consume as many of us as it needs to remain in power.
It's so crazy because there's no way because we're doing and the data centers and the electrification of the whole fucking car fleet and every vehicle and maybe even planes and all that at the same time, right?
Yeah.
Or how? Right?
Oh, but
I don't
magic
know.
power.
Yeah,
Yeah.
some magic power. Yeah,
Yeah.
UFOs, aliens. That's it. That's the solution.
Yeah, that's what they'll claim. I'm surprised
Yeah.
that wasn't in the
0 point
Spielberg
alien
movie.
tech. Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't seen it, I'm glad to say. I feel sorry for you, Rob, wasting your time going to see it. I had a feeling it'd be a total fucking disappointment
Mm-hmm.
because
I'm
they were
gonna
never
watch it
gonna.
though, but I'll pirate it for free.
Yeah, watch it on Yarg. Yeah,
I saw the review that Nerdrotic did, and yeah, sounds about right.
yeah. That's what I was expecting because there's no way they're going to put that information out like that. If they're going to do disclosure, it will be in a very politically controlled environment, not in a movie. Yeah, they wouldn't do
Yeah,
it in a movie.
or some fucking whistleblower comes out with a stash of fucking shit, right? Something like
Yeah,
that. Some
bunch of
Snowden
evidence or
figure. Yeah,
yeah.
but no.
Anyway, in talking about crazy fucking psychopaths who think they're in charge of everything, I grabbed a new song from that band we played his music from before recently, Mobius Loop, because they're working up to releasing an album, so they've put out a few songs, and this was the latest one they put out
Cool.
over the weekend. Yeah, we'll talk about it afterwards, but I thought it's got a good rhythm to it. It's got the kind of choral content that usually catches people's attention. Yeah, so hopefully it will get messages across to people in that good way that music does. Yeah. Anyway, I'll shut up, blather, and play some music. You got a few minutes break to go and grab a drink. We'll be back in about 4 minutes.
Under Trump, we will have no more wars.
The leader of the free world.
Well, the leader of the free world said grab him by the pussy. Give that man a peace prize before he gets too pushy. Department of War has got a little gold rushy. Epstein files have got a little hush-hushy. You won't deal me no Trump cards today. Palestine, build premium property. Who's gonna win this rigged game of Monopoly? It's written in my script just so no one's gonna stop me. Trick the whole world with conflict TikTokery. You won't deal me no Trump cards today. You know the words, everybody. Come on, sing again. Megalomaniacs, megalomaniacs. Really lethal. Shoot you in the back for helping innocent people. Agents of a government to justify this evil. We need a revolution, but it needs to be peaceful. You won't deal me no Trump cards today.
Yourselves to brutes, men who despise you, enslave you, who regiment your lives, tell you what to do, what to think, what to feel, who drill you, diet you, treat you like cattle, use you as cannon fodder. Don't give yourselves to these unnatural men.
They said he will start a war. I'm not going to start a war. I'm going to stop war.
Soldiers, in the name of democracy, let us all unite.
Like a fan club in British politics was born. Whatever you do, don't vote for reform. A millionaires boys club laughing at the poor. Broken Britain has a rich man's mission at its core. You won't deal me no Trump cards today. Megalomaniacs, megalomaniacs, megalomaniacs. Who's gonna take whose country back from who? Who in this world can claim they're indigenous? If Earth is your birthplace, we are all equal citizens. No one wants to live here as your open-air prisoners. The people of the planet see your cognitive dissonance. You won't deal me no Trump cards today. Megalomaniacs, 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 megalomaniacs. Who's gonna take whose country back from who?
Remember, I'm the president of peace. Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? I'll tell you what, that was pretty impressive.
I like that one.
That escalated rapidly. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
the latest
I like
one from Mobius Loop. check them out. They're on YouTube still. So
Mhm.
if you like that stuff, check them out before they get cancelled. I think my only complaint about that is it's a little bit one-sided. But
Starmer was in there.
Yeah, and I'm confident those guys know that there's a much bigger game above the left-right paradigm. I know they're aware of all that shit. I think it was more they were just playing on the way MAGA has become completely separate now from Trump. Trump's basically sitting there like emperor, like I mentioned the other week.
Like Ukraine. Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas the MAGA crowd really was a lot of the predominantly conservative, not necessarily far right, certainly not, but majority on the right, conservative people in America. They thought they were getting a president that was going to, get them back to a more traditional lifestyle, put it that way. But
No, you know how much the peace deal is gonna cost? It just came out. It's 300 billion. They're gonna pay Iran 300 billion for reparations.
And isn't that what they asked for right from the start? I think it is.
Yeah.
So basically, America has completely lost, and
have to pay for the damages.
And now,
and then some. Yeah,
we've yet to see the Israeli reaction. That's the main.
He wasn't happy. I know that, but I don't think they have reacted yet. But yeah.
Just give them
I don't know if the Americans have an off switch on that stuff that they have in Israel. Like they have some control over it. I don't know. But
not anymore. No, it's the other way around completely now.
Yeah.
The American governance is totally riddled with Zog. I don't think you can separate it in that sense. Like I mentioned, when was it, last week or the week before, with the Thomas Massey foot. I think he deliberately allowed them to steal it from him. Yeah, plus a Peace Prize. I think he knew that the only way to really get the message home to the American public was to show, like, look, there is now pretty much no one. I think there's one other person in the Senate now that doesn't take any AIPAC money. So, who's running your Senate for you people in the USA?
Wow, that's
considering
pretty
Trump
clear
is
now.
just a poodle dog to whatever nutty Yahoo wants. It's like your country is basically now the attack dog for Israel. So
and Israel is the 52nd state.
Yeah,
52nd. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. It's just an extension of fucking DC and all that. So, Magog shit.
Yeah. And
it's the headquarters.
It could be argued that in that grand chessboard level, we've been influencing the development of the USA and its direction since the inception, since 1776. Yeah, so
and Israel.
That's why I like the fact they included the little clip of Rothschild showing him the letter, the Balfour Agreement letter. Because if you missed it, the bit they were highlighting is where in the Balfour Agreement it stipulates that the indigenous population will still be allowed to stay in that country and have their civil and religious rights. So that's been completely stomped on right from the get-go here.
Yep.
But,
that's the Jews.
That's part of that bigger picture where it gets into the, the argumentation of, do you believe it's biblical or not? Because that's a big part of what they're playing on, trying to pretend that, what you see and what you're being witness to is a biblical grand warfare that's taken thousands of years to come to fruition, and now it's their time for their prophecy, And that's why they're having to do all this stuff, because it's in the Bible, mate. It says it in our old text, in the Talmud. It says this is going to happen. So there's nothing.
Well, it worked for 2,000 years, Cookie. So you don't blame them. You cannot blame them for fucking doing
repeating the method. Yeah,
it. Yeah, it works.
that's part of the problem, isn't it? And that I think is part of the definition of waking up. Yeah,
Nazi, right? Nazi is just the new word for pagan, right? You're a pagan. It's like you're a derogatory or a lesser human, and you don't believe in God, and you think fairies are real, and
I think that's a bit
you're
of
a
a
bit
conflation
stupid.
because one is a spiritual or religious point of view, and the
No,
other
but
is a
the
political
meaning shit
ideology.
that they have been doing that for fucking ages, like a Eskimo
You mean in terms of
or
making it a pejorative? Yeah, it is
yes,
a pejorative in that
yeah.
sense. Yeah.
We take pride in it now, just like the niggers take pride in being a nigger. Don't
I
they?
wouldn't call myself a Nazi, not at all.
No,
I'm
but
not
you
a
know,
national
it's not really a hurdy word anymore, right? I'm white
In that
pride and all
respect,
that,
no,
and
no.
right.
But I
If a
think
black
that's
people person can be proud about his fucking color, then I can be proud about my color as well, right? Is that now
Yeah.
we're beyond that? But I
It's
thought when
supposed to
we're
be.
in the
Yeah.
90s.
All lives matter, supposedly, but
Yeah, no, yeah, phew, careful.
they want us to fixate on racial differences and
Except
religious
Russian,
differences and sexual
Palestinian.
differences
Yeah.
and ethnic differences.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you might be black, but you're not the same kind of black as me. You know, every possible difference or divisive aspect that they can exploit, they are trying to do so.
Open borders, except for Palestinians.
Yeah, this is why, again, I think it's part of that waking up process that you start to see the same patterns again and again and again until it gets to the point where you can no longer deny them. The illusion stops working on you because you've seen it's an illusion and you've seen it played out so many times that in the end you just start to ignore it because you look in that direction. You go, oh yeah, it's that illusion again, like a mirage. You know, there's nothing actually there. It's just light reflecting. Yeah.
If democracy and world democracy was actually a thing, Palestine would be a state fucking decades ago. The world, the majority of world countries have agreed that the Palestinians deserve their own fucking state, and the Israelis need a little part in it. But
part of the argument is right from the start, the British, basically, because they were desperate just to get the money, they sold off the rights of their what was it called? Not stewardship, but they were the governance for Palestine at the time. It was
similar to Hong Kong, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And because they were desperate to get the money by selling those rights, they basically just walked away and let it happen. Whereas they could have, at the time, instituted a two-state solution right from the get-go. But instead, they let the crazy Zionist extremists go in there and slaughter thousands and thousands of people and just take their land.
Well, it was a Zionist idea from the get-go, wasn't it? Like,
yes, yeah, but I mean, just from in a practical sense of how things could have been better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right from the get-go, there were plenty of opportunities to establish this situation in a much better way.
Yeah, we're dealing with a different kind of Zionism. It is neo-Zionism, like the neocons. They have evolved. They have more kind of a more radical take on stuff.
You mean more psychopathic? I think that's all.
More inbred. Yeah.
Once you get up to that kind of level, the grand chessboard game level, there's only psychopaths up there because nobody else can survive at that level. The only way you survive is you have to be a psychopath like every other fucker sat around that playing table.
Yeah.
So they're all as bad as each other. They're all trying to feed off each other while keeping their own alive. Yeah, that's been the game plan for however many thousands of years now, over steady gradualism. At least 1,500 years is a good round figure to work from, because that was when some of the foundations of what leads to the modern nation states began. Prior to that, you're talking ancient history shit where there's a lot of ambiguous borderlines and whatever, But once you get about late Middle Ages, so you're talking like 700, 800 AD, that's when we start to see the beginnings of foundations of nation states that become solidified in the legal sense,
Mm-hmm. As a concept,
Yeah. that eventually leads to the grand chessboard we have now.
Yes.
And
Because
over
there's
those
always the
1500
deep state, right?
Yeah, that over
Is
those
it-
1500 years, the people who operate in a deep state have had to become worse and worse if they weren't the worst right from the get-go, yeah? Vlad
Yeah, because
Tepes
that's
is a classic example, Vlad the Impaler. The
that's
only
my
way he
bit of
stayed in power was by being as vicious as you can fucking imagine, your worst imagining.
Mhm. Well, that's the thing, right? With the democracy, or with the Rupert Lowe thing as well, right? Even if he becomes the president, he still has to fucking deal with MI5 and MI6 and
The deep state bureaucracy.
Agent whatever, and and all those guys, right? The shadow government,
Yeah, the
and
cog.
that's where it's at.
Yeah.
So,
That's the real government. The politicians
and he
we
knows
see
it, and he
playing their
knows it.
monkey
Like,
games in Parliament or in the Senate floor in the US or wherever.
So,
They are a drama show for us to consume as entertainment. They are not what runs the country.
prime minister, if you're lucky, means that you did okay. Or if you're unlucky, you're the fall guy. You're the fucking guy that takes the blame and goes down in history as the worst president ever, or whatever, prime minister. Or
I think they could argue,
and they don't care. But
I think I could argue that they operate on a psychological level. So they feed into the public consciousness certain ideas that they want the public to support. So in that kind of problem reaction solution sense, they create problems. They then tell us, "Oh, look, well, if you want us to deal with that, we need this new power. So if you want to give us this new power, we can deal with the problem for you." So they feed ideas into the public to guide them in a direction that they want them to go and to support.
yeah, well, that's it, right?
As in the actual rubber stamping and button pressing of the running of your governance, no, that's the deep state bureaucracy.
That's it. Because if the true leadership would be sitting there, it would be a Rothschild or some fucking whatever, no name we don't know about. That has actual power and not some low level cunt you can control with lover boys from Ukraine and
some of
right.
them,
It's just hungry for power and acknowledgement and ego and all that shit.
Some of them, and I think this still holds true to a large degree, but I think they have also been added to by kind of like the new world gods, as it were, modern equivalents, but the 13 bloodlines that are often recounted as the black nobility. You can start from there. Most of them have been trillionaires for a long time. Fuck Elon Musk. He's not the richest man in the world, for fuck's sake.
No.
Just because the news keeps calling him that doesn't make it so, yeah? Most of his assets are tied up anyway in the first place. So it's a bit of a semantics game that they're playing by saying that he's worth such and such. His companies are worth that much. That doesn't mean he can go and take all that money.
Yeah, I know, it's all on paper
account,
and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
he can take out a nice little loan.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And they certainly would support him.
Yeah, but that's how he lives.
Yeah.
That's how he gets his money.
And so a lot of the big businessmen live. They live on credit.
Yeah.
They're constantly playing a game of chasing the profit to keep paying off the debt that they owe from before. So
yeah, and if SpaceX goes bust tomorrow because the UFOs come out and we have anti-gravity, then a lot of people lose a lot of money, right? But Elon won't because he doesn't have any money. In actual money, right? Everything is kind of a loan. Yeah. He's loaning everything on basis of a promise and a sale and a pitch.
And in a lot of ways that business owners do, they could call for a bonus or a salary payout from the business. So it's not a permanent payment, as in like a regular salary, but they can say,
"That's it, right? It would be a salary still." Yeah. It would be 20K, maybe 30K, maybe 50K, because but not. Yeah.
And I'm sure
not $1 trillion.
These general expenses will be automatically filtered through some sub companies and whatever to basically
write-offs and all that. Yeah. That's how they live. It's like those rock stars as well. They live like that as well.
If Mahatma's around, he could list a lot of them. I know he knows a lot of them, but I can only remember the Orsini's off the top of my head. And what's one begins with the P? Oh, fucking hell. The one that goes back to the Romans. Fucking Piso. The Piso family. Yeah, so there are a handful of families. This has often been written about in the usual kind of conspiracy literature as well. There is this handful of families who can trace their lineage right back into ancient history, and they have been around accumulating money to their family name in one branch or another.
Jesus lineage tied into
hundreds
it?
and hundreds of years. The Merovingians, possibly.
Yeah.
I think there is some connection to one of the families in the black nobility. But
I think But they,
there's there's the classic connections in there that are the roots of the aristocracy that becomes most of the nobility that saturates Europe and then the New World.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because
the funny thing
before,
is, in theory,
the Polynesians are still separate to us in that respect.
In theory, any family could do this, right?
In theory, yeah. According
you
to
have to work on it, right? You have to have continuation and handover and build up, and be actually planning into the future, like 100 years into the future.
Yeah, there's some more.
But you could be laying a groundwork to a grand empire, right now.
Oh, for Cini, Medici, Orsini, Conti, they all sound Italian. I know there's some other families there, but yeah, a lot of them.
That's the Roman nobility, right? And the Phoenician lineage.
And it's part of what's classically in the academic world is referred to as the black nobility, which comes from the Venetian city-states.
Yeah.
So they are sort
That's
of. That's
where the mask stuff comes from and shit. Right?
The masquerade, yeah.
Yeah.
But that's where a lot of that academically accepted history comes from. But there's more to the 13 families than just that branch, the Venetian branch. But you don't encounter it in the Eastern world. They've got separate, what would you call them, cabals, entities, whatever. They've got
long-lasting linear, bloodlines.
Yeah, if you just
the dragon bloodline,
the
right?
dragon families are separate from the 13 families, but of course they all still appreciate and benefit from playing the game, so they don't try and completely eradicate each other. It's a little bit like the way in some cultural media, like some of the movies that have come out over the last couple of decades, where they present this kind of society of vampires. Like if you've ever watched any of the Underworld movies, there's been a few.
Hell yeah!
What was that one with the sparkly vampires? That was similar. There's like an underground society of vampires that rule the world, basically from the shadows. And to a large degree, that is based on the cultural mythology of what the metaphor that he's a vampire was meant to represent. Because the traits of the vampire too uncannily coincide or correlate to the diagnosis of a psychopath. Apart from things like changing into a bat and stuff like that, some of the more magical attributes of the vampire, but the general attributes of being
that's it.
Cannibalistic Twilight. Yeah, that was it. Thanks, man. That was so fucking awful. I hated
so fucking gay.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, teen shit.
Let's make vampires gay. They sparkle. For fuck's sake, somebody slap these cunts, please.
He's so cute.
That's an example of that moral relativism. They took a metaphor from cultural history that a little bit like fairy tales is meant to...
Something that's bad, they made them good.
Yeah, it's meant to bring you information about beware of people like this kind of thing, and they turned it into something fucking good.
Sparkly.
Made it attractive. So, moral relativism. The art of inversion.
Gay, sparkly vampires.
Yeah. Mentioned that. I didn't watch it, but Trump had his birthday party with his.
I watched the clip.
On the lawn.
I watched it. Yeah.
I couldn't be asked looking at any of it.
There was one fighter that said Michelle was a man.
Right. Did you say that live in the middle of the
Yeah,
fight?
yeah. Joe Rogan was the host, was doing it,
Oh, fuck's sake, man.
of course.
We are in idiocracy. We are in the movie
Literally.
Idiocracy.
Literally.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah. Camacho, right? President Camacho. He was black.
President
but
Camacho, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
That's the
Trump's the
only-
same in the sense
He's
of just
orange.
just being
He's
a
not
fucking
white either.
total fucking egotist. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I cannot blame Trump. He's living his fucking life, right? This is like, he's the emperor with no clothes on the fucking golden throne, having his
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah. While doing a helicopter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whee!
Saying, do you like me jewel encrusted codpiece? Yeah.
Yeah, you cannot take that whole shit serious. We shouldn't have. Like, after they killed that whole JFK thing and that illusion, right?
But that's what worries me, that we have entered that phase now where so many people are just so numb to all this insanity
Yeah.
that we can have
is.
President Camacho having a fucking fight on the
UFC
White House
fight.
lawn,
Yeah.
narrated or
The
with
octagon.
fucking Joe Rogan there. Fuck knows how much they paid him to do that.
Hmm.
Although it wouldn't surprise me if he did it for free, knowing him, because he's a bit of a political.
No.
ostrich.
He'll take money for it.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Considered how much he generally gets paid, yeah.
Fuck
Probably.
yeah.
It's just, I'm starting to become lost for words, which is a bit of a difficulty for me, you know. I'm sure regular listeners are used to the fact that I can talk fucking endlessly for hours. But me saying I'm lost for words is a bit like,
They did show an example of what Biden did the last celebration. And he did a gay pride fucking thing, right? With a bunch of trannies on the White House lawn and a gay party. And so, yeah, that's the other end.
Oh, yes. I remember. Yeah.
It's like, yeah, you know. It's
been
from one
like
extreme to the other.
Yeah, and it's been like this for quite a while now.
Yeah.
But
What's next?
we do seem to have reached a cacophony of it, a culmination of it, where it's now so ridiculous. I mean, weirder than weird and weird. Things are getting very weird.
Yeah, I love it.
And this is where it starts to get into are we actually living in a movie? Because the only time I've ever seen stuff that's as weird or stupid or surreal as this is in some shitty Hollywood movie.
Yeah, and do you pay tax, right? Is why? What's the reason why do I do anything right now? Because everything feels so nihilistic, right? Because
Well, have you succumbed to getting a ridiculously large loan from a bank and just going out and pissing it up the wall?
the only reason you can get a loan if you have a fucking job, right? So yeah, you have to get that stupid job first, and then you have to pay all the taxes on your salary in the first place, and then on basis of that you can get a loan, or you get a mortgage, right?
And
then you're fucking tied in for life, and you're stuck in that fucking rat race. And I think a lot of people are like, okay, in the 50s that was doable. Right, you could pay it off in 10, 20 years, and the house was yours, and you could hand it over to your kids without fucking getting taxed again twice.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, all that people are figuring it out, like, and the fatigue is real, and the migrant stuff is just a distraction of the reality that the whole fucking financial and why do I work and what is it, what do I get in return for all the fucking taxes thing? I think that's it, right? That's the World War III thing. That's all that. People are figuring out that everything is a fucking lie. What they work for, what they do, what they pay their taxes for.
I think this would be a really
That's
good
the big
moment.
lie that they don't want exposed. They don't care about aliens.
That clip you've got of the younger generation saying what she's going to do.
Yeah.
This is a perfect moment for that clip. Like when they turn the internet off.
Yeah.
This is what happens.
People, earlier we looked at screen time. What was your screen time over the weekend?
9 hours.
9 hours. So suddenly you're going to have a lot more time to fill. And what will you do?
Stare at a wall.
Yeah. Stare at a wall.
Yeah, it's like the world doesn't exist, right? There's no, You cannot
Well,
go
that's what
out
I
with your
mean,
friends.
like-
You cannot go to a playground. You cannot go to the swimming pool. Go to the beach. Enjoy nature. Whatever. Chat with your friends directly, face to face.
Mhm.
No, they actually don't have friends. They have 3,000 Instagram friends, but in reality, they have none. Because they never made that social connection, right? They don't even know where they live.
Yeah.
Some of
So
those might live
it's-
down the street, and they don't even know that they live down the street because they
No,
have.
'cause the
So
screen
it's
tells
so
them how to get
fucking
there.
fucked up. Yeah,
Yeah.
That's bizarre.
Good evening, Uli.
But she illustrates perfectly. Yeah.
I mean, they're saying that, but I think it's also a fairly well-known
She's being
bit
nice.
of common knowledge that, yeah, she's just being a bit sarky, because the reality is kids will not sit still for 9 hours and stare at a wall. Even if they're having a big sulk and they want to, have a bit
That's
of
the
a
biggest
sulky
sarcasm,
tantrum.
ever.
Yeah, they're going to get bored within a few minutes, or they're going to demand your attention.
Yeah,
So they're going to start playing up or something to get your
You're
attention.
gonna just destroy my fucking room or whatever.
This is where we get back into that problem area of the conversation where there is a lot of truth, a lot of truism to the idea that these social media platforms and smart devices, I think it's more to do with the device than the platforms themselves, yeah? Because the platforms can be presented in different ways, and there'll be different developed, like you mentioned earlier, the youngsters are already using different platforms that the older people just don't even know about, they've never heard of before, so the newer stuff is going to be constantly being developed and released. So in that respect, is this back to the problem of, and I know people hate this, but it's down to the parents, not the government. I think I mentioned this last week or the other day. Part of the reason for this is they're trying to reinforce in the parents' minds that the state supersedes you on decisions to do with your child. So this is yet again the governance making a move to try and separate parents from children. So the state is saying, oh no, we won't help you figure out how to deal with your child's addiction to smart devices. No, we'll just create this setup where you have to give us your information, and now it's your fault if the child cheats and bypasses the system. Because that's what will happen if children are caught breaking the legislation. It will be the parents that get prosecuted.
Yeah, all of a sudden, then the parents are responsible. Funny that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to me, the problem is one, yes,
Problem, reaction, solution. Right.
The technology and the regular persistent use of it, I think in small amounts in the right situation, it's okay, but constant access to one of these devices is not good for young children. Yeah, it's not really good for young adults to a degree, but young children definitely not. Yeah, and there's ways around that. There's ways that we can bring information from the internet to them that doesn't require them having to have a smart device in their hand or on their lap. All right, that's something else of separating the device from them, and certainly not Wi-Fi connected or Bluetooth connected. You can have devices that are connected by a wire that removes pretty much all of the smog effect, the EMF smog effect. But again, the point being, we can have ways of allowing children to make use of the functionality of the internet and those kind of tools available on the internet and the knowledge base available on the internet without them having to have their own smart device that they're playing with constantly.
I've seen an experiment, right, where they took the phone of a teen who was strongly addicted to all that shit. And she just turned into herself. So just slumped over, looked down to the ground, and wasn't interacting with anything.
Yeah.
So people are trying to talk to her. But she couldn't interact with the real world either. She had lost the ability to kind of, talk to people or look at people in the face.
Because there isn't the same feedback.
Yeah, and that filter, right? Always in between, like, oh, I have to smile, so smile,
Yeah.
and then you can cry on, right? It's that fakery you
Mhm.
cannot do in real life. You have to be real in real life.
Mhm. But that's what a lot of them are tricked into feeling is
That's that staring at the wall
uh,
kind of a behavior,
yeah,
right?
the bad
She's saying,
self-image of themselves
yeah,
compared to the ease of the use of the device to disguise their feeling of bad self-image. So in other
hmm
words, they're taught to be so self-critical that they find fault with themselves compared to everybody else, which is a common trait in teenagers anyway, in the first place, because of that development of the social group mind that happens in teenagers. But
yeah,
they turn that inwards, and then it's exacerbated and added to by them then using a device that enables them to basically wear a digital disguise.
hmm
So they can present themselves in a completely non-authentic fashion, and that makes them feel better because they feel like, oh, now I don't have to worry about people saying I got a big nose or something. Yeah. So
yeah.
instead
You
of
stick a filter
developing
on
the
it.
self-confidence, they're hiding behind a digital disguise. So that means the feeling of of bad self-image or lack of self-worth is going to amplify because it's never been dealt with. It's just been left to atrophy and metastasize.
hmm Yeah,
Again,
and these
they're not
kids
they're
have
not
have
helping children by doing this. It's quite the opposite. This is going to make children worse.
these kids have programmed to avoid conflict, right? That's
Yeah.
that's kids programming, right? To avoid conflict. So
Safe
when they
space,
they
safe
sit at
space.
the table, they already have programmed. Oh, I have to kind of get off the social for 50 minutes. Kind of, look at my parents and act
Yeah,
like I'm a normal
yeah,
child, and then I can get back to my fucking smartphone and do the normal thing. Because if I don't, if I pick up my father will complain, my mother will complain, blah blah blah, drama. They'll take off my phone, right? Shit like that. So they
yeah,
program themselves into fucking working to uh, maximize social media, social intake, and
yeah.
how to navigate into social networks, right? Either in
This is
real
right.
world or fake world.
The,
But
the, the
that's so fucking
teenagers.
bizarre because a teen should not be. They should be worried about climbing trees and
Well,
setting
no,
shit on
a big
fire
part of the teenage years is developing your
and
social
getting
network
pregnant.
brain. Yeah,
Hmm.
when you're a pubescent child, your social circle is only as big as your immediate relatives. Yeah, and you'll have a few school friends, but your concern is to do with your immediate family relatives because they're the people you're constantly interacting with. They're the people that provide for you
Yeah,
and
you
whatever.
shouldn't be so self-conscious, right? Like,
No, you're not in
no,
general when you're that age. You don't.
no.
You might notice differences, but they don't stop you from interacting with others.
It shouldn't matter.
So
No.
young children don't see colour, and
Yeah.
most of them don't see disability as a problem. They might
hmm
point it out, but they don't see it as a problem. Yeah,
hmm
they don't fixate on it in that kind of way that adults do. But
Yeah, and
when
that's
you reach your teenage years, that's when your social circle expands. So your mind is doing the same. You're looking for social interactions and you're looking to position yourself in the social groupings.
hmm
That's when you develop your main group of friends and the circle of the popular people and whatever develops. That's why it's the worst age to give a smart device to children in their teenage years.
Yeah.
Because this is the main time when they become very self-conscious, partly due to puberty and the changes of the body, but just in a social sense, their mind is more concerned with developing social networks at that age. So somebody disliking them or dissing them or whatever, trolling them, flaming, is amplified in their minds compared to what an adult would feel about that situation. Yeah.
hmm
Because to them, the social grouping is more important than anything else. So young children,
Yeah.
you shouldn't give devices to because it's
And
introducing
again,
shit you can't control. Yeah, but
I bet you Starmer's kids are not on that social media. Starmer
well,
himself is not on the social media.
what was his phrase? Hand on
Steve,
heart.
Steve
just want
Jobs
them
was
to be
not on
happy.
social media. His kids
No.
were banned from fucking
Bill
iPads.
Gates, children
Bill
are not
Gates,
allowed.
same, right? Everybody that knows how detrimental technology can be,
Yeah,
right? Because it's
bans
all an
or restricts
experiment.
their
We
children,
all
basically.
in a big fucking experiment, right? So,
Yeah.
and now everybody's
Pavlov's
learning.
dogs en masse.
We are
Like
leering,
UK
but they
multi en
already
masse.
knew. That's the problem, right? They already knew we are leering.
Mhm.
That is not good. So, but the problem is,
And I w-
like we said, AI is on the horizon. This whole social media thing and the internet, as we know, it's going to change radically in the coming 2-3 years. I think when
yeah,
that really
it's
takes
already
off.
it's really beginning now. I think.
Yeah. So you're not going to recognize the
No, I think
app world
if
that we live in now. That is going to
if they
completely
keep
change.
if they keep pushing with this kind of ID, digital tyranny stuff, I think there's going to be a mass exodus from the internet.
Well, they have to because at some point we're gonna have a reckoning with these social media companies. So they better go different and do something else because
I
all
think
the suicides and all the social problems and anxiety shit that they have caused.
Mhm.
If that's a lawsuit, dude, right? So and
Yeah,
maybe
but
that's why they want to
that'd be the
differentiate. Like
same.
Meta is desperate,
But
desperate to get
that,
into
that's
other
never going to
shit.
become an actionable thing, right? Because
No, but they would rather
system
leave this
relies
social
on it.
media behind and move into something else, so they can just say like, okay, yeah, but that was in the past, and now is in the now, and let's not talk about that.
And they're actively working on changing the system so that they can play a pretense game of being your best mate, which is a lot of what the AI does here. It's very toady-like. It's very obsequious. It wants to please the user constantly. It wants to be mates with the user, unless you tell it not to, of course, which you can do. But
Yeah.
a lot of the default settings is it will try and treat you like another human, even though it's a robot. But it will try and be friendly with you and be make every attempt it can to do what it thinks you want, and it will apologize if it gets it wrong or whatever. It's trying so desperately that in that respect, I think for a lot of people, it's going to become like worse than fucking staring at a wall for 9 hours. People are not going to want to interact with it because it comes across as so fake, because it tries so hard to still do the political manipulation to you, the psychological manipulation to you, but in a semantic fucking gameplay, disguise it as, oh, I just care about you. I want to do what you're asking me to. I want to help you. I want to please you.
That's my worst nightmare, Cookie. Like that's what AI is gonna evolve into, like the worst version of a girlfriend, right?
I need to stab
Super
you to make you better.
manipulative, emotionally fucking triggering, and yeah.
Which is what
Yeah,
look. Somebody mentioned it in the chat. I think it might have been Roscoe, saying like a lot of what we're looking at is what you could call a louche farm. Yeah, louche being that word that is meant to imply the kind of energetic
emotional
that they can tap
vampires
into and feed off. Yeah. I mean, I do agree. There's a truth to that, but at the same time,
we all have that, right?
They're using this technology to steer people in mass groups. So yes, they use that louche effect to act as a bait and a lubricant. In other words, they get people used to this feed that they're giving them, just like Pavlov would change what he was feeding the dogs, to manipulate them. They will change what they're feeding these people and get them to come along a new pathway. Yeah, so they're doing this constantly. They're leaving trails of bait, basically. And a lot of the internet has become that kind of virtualized coliseum where if you want to, you can find all the spectacles of the world portrayed before you. Whatever you're into, you can find some site out there that is presenting that kind of media. In that respect, it's way beyond a louche farm. This isn't just like archonic entities feeding on people's emotion. No, this is them manipulating societies en masse to go in certain directions and to feed their energy into certain ideas to do with this cabal takeover, the psychopathic world that they're trying to introduce.
Yeah, okay, but that goes into the conspiracy, right? Back in the 60s, AI is fucking since the 60s. This whole
simple
DARPA
AI,
network, internet is all military.
yeah.
It's all pre-planned and
It's all been a
rolled out
catcher's
for a
net.
reason. There is a reason behind everything.
Yeah.
Right? You might not know it, but yeah.
And this begins in the 1800s. I would argue
Somebody's
that's
benefiting for sure. Like,
that's when I think the major moves were begun. The major dominoes were flicked and started to fall and cascade.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the foundations go back to the previous century, the 1700s and even the 1600s with that papal bull and whatever. But since around that time, yes, it's been a steady progression to a situation that many of them, even though they might not have been able to comprehend of how the technology would take form, they knew that the societies would get to a stage where they would be able to have access to a technology that would allow them to control people en masse.
Yeah.
It's sort of like a perfected version of the bread and circuses of the Colosseum.
And they also knew that 10% of those people would not buy it, would reject it, and for those people, they created Q, right? And the moon hoax,
shit.
and shit, right? And MAGA, and all that shit to fall for as so-called open-minded people over here. So we're trapped on both sides because AI models are not new. AI models have been running since the fucking 80s. Like data analytics on a large scale,
I can't remember the name of it, but that first chatbot.
Jeeves? Wasn't it Jeeves? Something like that?
No, that was
Butler,
one of the first searches. That was one of the first search software. No, I'm on about...
Yeah, but
it was an old reel-to-reel thing. This was before the rollout of the internet en masse.
Okay.
But it was a chatbot that you could interact with via text.
Dave?
It might have been something like that. But it did just have a simple name. But I watched a documentary years ago where they showed they had people interacting with it, and it would just reply based on your comments,
Yeah.
And it would ask simple questions like, "What did you do yesterday?" Or "Are you looking forward to your holidays?" That kind of thing.
Right. Yeah.
So it was a very simple algorithmic conversation tree. Yeah, and that's all it was. It was just what nowadays you'd call a conversation tree. But it was good enough that people could sit and have a chat with it. And it would lead you in little loops. So basically, you could sit there 24/7 chatting to it, and it'd keep asking you questions.
Yeah, the only thing limiting it was the processing power, right? We were running 16-bit and low K.
Storage space is the main thing. That's been a major part of the computing crunch.
Yeah, and that's not an issue anymore, right? So,
no. And it's going to be even less with some of the stuff that's being developed now.
The computer that they put in a Tesla cookie is crazy if you think about it. It's able to fucking do self-driving and all that data analytics.
Yeah.
That's a fucking, that's a supercomputer you get back in the fucking boot of your car. So Elon Musk is willing to, sell you a car for $60K and stick a fucking supercomputer in the back of it. Because why?
Because he just cares about you so much.
Yeah, he loves you.
But it was like the kit, the car in Night Rider.
Yeah.
You can give them voices and whatever, and you could have a chat with the AI on board and whatever. So it is just like a kit car.
Yeah.
And that is something they've been using again as another wedge effect, because being able to change the environment of vehicles was easier to persuade the public to go along with than changing the way society operates in general, like the shift to the digital ID. It was easier for them to get the public to accept that cars are tracked and monitored And then, I mean, this is more relevant to the USA than here, but I know these services are here as well. Then introducing things like the breathalyzer test before you can start the vehicle for people who've had drink drive prosecutions. Yeah. So these, what do they use to call it? Low jacking, where you could get a GPS tracker fitted to your car and stuff like that. And the introduction of the computers, onboard computers to control the running of the engine, because it makes the engine more economical, so you get better mileage. So of course the public were, yeah, we're quite fine with that now. But now the computer controls how your engine runs and whether it even fucking starts or not. So now all of those steps have been linked together. So now if you go out and buy a modern car, like you just described, you're basically buying a mobile computer that's cellular connected to the internet constantly 24/7, and he's going to track everything you do while you're inside that vehicle, and even after you've got out of it as well, probably.
That chip alone, or that computer alone, is $3,000. That's more than an NVIDIA 5090.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Seriously.
You could get a good gaming rig for about $3,000. Yeah. But it is running AI and several cameras and all kinds of sensors.
It's made by NVIDIA.
Yeah. But do you see what I mean in that respect? They've sneaked in the advancement of vehicles far easier than the switch over they want in the actual infrastructure of society, like things like digital ID.
Yeah.
Because the vehicle's pretty essential to most people in their lives, often for work reasons, you know, because people going to and from work. But in a modern society like we live in, supposedly modern society, having a vehicle is somewhat essential for a lot of people anyway, let alone just for going to work, you know. So they were much more easily able to slip in a lot of these changes, and the public just went along with it.
It used to be the last kind of privacy thing, right? You could get into your car, drive off, and you know, go
drive
dogging.
to the local. Well, I was going to say drive to your local park, but you know, we know the kind of park she likes to frequent.
You cannot do that anymore with your Tesla.
No, you can't do
your own camera all over.
You can't do dogging on a push bike. It'd be a bit difficult. Yeah.
Well, you know, I make a joke about it, but yeah, it's a reality, sadly.
Yeah, unfortunately. But yeah, you used to be able to just get in your car, drive somewhere where you feel comfortable to sit and do nothing, and just sit in your car for a bit, listen to the radio, read a book.
Yeah, and nobody knew where you were. Yeah.
Yeah. Even just driving round for half an hour, you know, just got, well, I know there's not that many people that do this anymore, but maybe
with
some
the
of
fuel
the
prices.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. But back in the day when it was a bit cheaper, I would just go out for a drive for half an hour, an hour.
When I was young, that's what we did. There was 5 young lads in a car.
Just go out exploring.
Mostly stoned.
Yeah, turn the car into a giant bong.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now those cars,
no.
They probably wouldn't allow you to start the engine.
No,
I think you're a stoner.
I think you're under influence. Yeah.
I'm going to summon the local constabulary. Please remain in the vehicle.
You need therapy.
The doors would lock. Yeah. Oh yeah, and then they connect you to a fucking
therapist
from Better Help. Yeah.
Yeah. Now they sent the police for a therapist. Like the guy in Canada that got stopped in Canada.
Yeah. Oh, the one who got they were threatening to send him for MAID. Yeah.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Well, psych evaluation. Some psychiatrist saw him somewhere, and he thought it was a bit weird, and reported him for fucking psych. What the fuck? Well, that's digital ID. Very handy.
Again, yeah. And Tuttle and Buttle. I thought about using that for the title this week, but we've got to wait and see if they actually implement it, because I'm struggling to visualize in my head how they're actually going to implement it in the first place.
If you don't have a digital ID already in the ready, right? And I don't know how you're going to do it.
No, I'm thinking some of the bigger platforms like YouTube and Facebook, they could probably do it using other methods. You know, they can do like
They have
footprint analysis.
YouTube Kids and YouTube whatever.
Yeah.
They'll
Where they
oblige.
already auto detect
Yeah.
stuff like that. Yeah.
No.
So I'm hoping we won't see any shit going on YouTube, but that's what I mentioned earlier. Yeah, if this channel
Rumble.
does get quiet or shut down or whatever, then yeah, we'll be on Rumble.
Can I play the
I
promo? Because Rob will be
Oh
angry
yeah,
if I
for
don't play
tomorrow
it.
night. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, do
Can
it
I?
now because we're
Here we
coming
go.
to the hour.
Yeah.
Oh, thinking about Miami. There was only you and me. We were young and wild and free. Now nothing can take you away from me. We've been down that road before. That's over now. You keep me coming back for.
Yeah.
That sounded like it was a bit of a squeeze in there. You think you needed a bit more salve. That's the problem when you get that kind of pneumatic
No,
pushback.
it's our age, mate. It's when you hit 50.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'll let you
So
know. when I
get your joyful tunes in, right? We had a bit of a depressing week with the loss of Mrs. Smith and all that. So we want to cheer you up a bit.
Yeah.
So drop the suggestions in Rob's comments or in my comments or wherever we'll find it, or in the show, and we'll play.
While you're paying attention in the chat, Robert, if you
Yeah.
don't want to play my first choice, I understand. I get that some people don't realise that song's not.
Yeah, I
meant
don't
to
agree
be-
with Rob, so I'm with Cookie. It's
It's
a
a song
democracy.
about-
So
It's a song about catharsis. Yes, I will do. It's a song about catharsis. I know the music sounds sad, but that's the point. You know, it's meant to lift you out of sadness with what he's singing about.
yeah, you gotta listen to the lyrics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I get it. If you don't want to play, that's cool, man. I don't mind.
No, I will. I can shut it. It's my request as well. I got a veto. I haven't said a word, he said.
I'll tell you my question before I draw the rune this time. So I was thinking about this the other night. I thought people might think I'm making up the question after I've seen the rune, which I'm not. But you know, people like to think lots of things, don't they? But all I'm thinking of is, will they definitely introduce this social media ban for under 16 children?
X. Social media X. There we go. Yeah.
Let me get me book. I've got a feeling that the meaning of that is somewhat
Crossroads?
indicative of the imagery. But,
yeah,
we'll just check.
That's a nice one, though.
Partnership. Things joining together, I expect. You can't get it reversed. Gebo or Gibo. Not sure how you would pronounce that in Nordic pronunciation, but uniting or partnership in some form is at hand. You're put on notice not to collapse yourself into that union, but this is a partnership. So, in other words, don't allow yourself to be absorbed into the other. Council applies all levels in love relationships, business affairs, and partnering of every kind with what some will call your higher self. So is it part of the cycle runes? The progression. Most of all, it's a case when seeking union with the divine. God always enters into equal partnerships. Equal partnerships. So how would you interpret that in terms of are they or are they not going to introduce the digital ID I think they are, but that gives me the impression that we're going to end up with a parallel situation, which to me makes sense in just looking at the way things will play out if they do try and actually introduce it. So to me, that's saying, yes, they will introduce it, but most people will either resist it or don't want to adopt it, or will end up with a situation of parallel things going on, which is pretty much what I'd expect to happen.
You know how they are gonna get us? Sorry, it's gonna be Rupert Lowe and the other Farage fucker is gonna say, yeah, well, that's how we're gonna control the migrant crisis.
Yeah.
And everybody on the right is gonna go, hey, we're gonna control the migrant crisis.
I haven't listened to it, but from one headline I saw, Farage did make a statement basically claiming that he was warning that this will lead to digital ID. That makes me reconsider what's his position on that, because I thought he was pro digital ID. As far as I remember, he is. But
if it's about solving his problems, yes. Right? If that's gonna solve his so-called migrant issue, then of course.
I think he's got other plans for that. Because he's ruled out.
Well, he's not deport like Low, right? So
yeah, so to me that means digital
he just
ID
wants to stop the boats. That's it.
Yeah, but it would be quite a high probability that he would want to implement something like that, because the argument would be that, well, that's part of the problem reaction solution, isn't it? The argument is that we can track these people because they've got IDs.
I think he's for it because of the kids, right? He's not going to be against it because of the protecting the kids. So, and I think Lowe is smarter than that. Says like, no, this is the back door into digital ID and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And yeah, Farage is just saying, yeah, well, this is to protect the kids, but I don't want digital ID.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, I don't. He's such a slimy weasel.
That's his role.
I know, but
so he's going to continue his weaseling until people start voting in the restore people, and then we'll be rapidly going towards.
That's fucking fascism and radical. Yeah, that's about that.
Yeah,
that's
corporatism, Ingsoc, the neo-imperial attitude.
That's Elon Musk and shit, right? That's MAGA on steroids.
That's a big part of it, yes. Uber patriotism that's not really patriotism, it's more brand loyalty, because what they're trying to get people into, again, corporatism, this is classic corporatism. Yeah, they want you to sublimate yourself into the iconography of the brand. So in other words, you are a nationalist in the sense of you support all the icons that go with what you're told nationalism is.
Nationalism is the new paganism.
Yes.
Or Nazism or whatever, right? But they want to, make you feel bad. They want this revolution, and this revolution is going to end bad. It's going to make you feel bad. You're going to say, okay, we're going to do the global governance, blah, blah, blah. That.
Yeah.
I think that's the idea.
We agree to the new paradigm. We comply to the new paradigm.
Yeah. Sorry, you made a mistake.
Yeah. Well, I didn't pull up that Muse song. I thought about grabbing that one because I played it before in the past, the Compliance one. So it recently released a new album. I've had to listen to a couple of them. They're all right. But I just I still can't get over the fact that they demanded people to have vaccine passports and whatever. So, they still write some good music, but they're a bit fucked in the head, I think.
It's getting a bit repetitive for me.
I think they're exploiting it a bit too much now.
Too much, yes.
Yeah. It's an easy demographic.
Without actually doing anything, right? So that's
and without being helpfully constructive in any way.
They did the mask, they did the jab, they did all that. So fuck them.
They're not encouraging conversation about the ideas. They're just repeating tropes largely, So it becomes a bit.
They're not rebels. They act like rebels.
No, music for the choir kind of thing. It's still the choir. It's still following orders. It's just they get to sing a rebel song every now and then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I've got a Rebel song lined up to play us out with.
Yeah.
We'll do have to chat for a little bit as well if people want to
links in the chat.
join in. Cool, thank you. Let's just check my notes.
See you tomorrow for the heavenly tunes on Rumble.
Yeah, Rumble exclusive. Remember tomorrow.
On Health Freedom UK.
Yeah, I mentioned. I didn't mention the G7 summit, and this weekend
the peace deal. Well, a little bit, but yeah.
This weekend we're going to be meeting for the meetup over the solstice weekend. We're going to try. I know Kitty and Paul have mentioned this on Friday night. We'll try and set up a live stream if we can. It will be on the Saturday night. I'm not saying any definite time yet. It might be 7, it might be 8, it might be 9. It depends if and how we can get it set up.
Yep.
And if we do, it's only going to be who wants to participate, yeah? Because the whole point of the get-together was to meet each other face-to-face, not through screens. So, the whole idea is we're not going to be filming each other all the time with air. There's going to be no fucking gonzo camera shit going on. But if we can organise
not Big Brother.
No, definitely not. But if we can organise a live stream, we will. It might be a bit rough, but yeah, we'll see what I can get set up.
Yeah.
I'll take my kit with me, so as long as they've got a fairly decent connection down there, I should be able to get something going. It's just how to get multiple people on the camera at once. That's the thing. But anyway, yeah. Just so you know, we'll do that if we can over the weekend. Other than that, I won't be on next Monday. Not doing a show next Monday because we'll still be partying and enjoying ourselves and shouting at the moon and whatever. We'll see. But yeah, no show from me next Monday.
No dailies for me this week. Dailies back next week, but no live next week. So we'll see if we'll do a Wednesday show. But yeah, we'll probably take a week.
No Monday, and possibly no Tuesday either. Because
probably not.
Depending how long it takes for all to get back and if they got the energy to do it. But yeah, I'll let Rob make his own announcement in that respect if he's going to do anything or not. But yeah, tomorrow night, Rumble only. Rob and Pete play music. Wednesday night, Starfish Troopers as usual. With the, well, I say usual. It's just like shit. It's so fucking weird and crazy now. There's nothing usual about it. Yeah.
Well, it should be interesting with the clips. Mm-hmm.
And Thursday night for Steve for the mystery show. And then, of course, there won't be any ladies' night on Friday night because
we just had one. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're going to have one on Saturday then. Yeah, ladies' night.
Saturday instead. Lady boys' night. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Thanks for tuning in, folks.
Thanks all.
See you again soon. Don't believe all the bullshit.
Hi, Lynn.
Remember, good evening, Lynn. Remember, you still have the power to say no. So hopefully, enough people will say no. But we shall see. Catch you soon. Catchies. I am not
Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition.
Welcome to your awakening. Please take off as your reality is adjusted.